Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. After watching the Capcom Spotlight event yesterday, there are a few important things I'd like to share in this video, so make sure to watch until the end. But before we get into the content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's free and helps you stay updated with future videos. All right, let's jump right into it. Number 1. Leon doesn't really fit in a horror game. Resident Evil Requiem director Koshi Nakanishi stated that while Leon is technically the main character in this game, they took a different direction because Leon isn't the type of person who feels fear, especially not fear of monsters, zombies, or anything else that typically creates a horror atmosphere. And it's true, according to the director, Leon isn't someone who gets scared in dark rooms or tense situations filled with creepy noises or sudden threats. But in my opinion, this doesn't just apply to Leon. The same goes for other veteran characters like Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, and more. They're the type who always push forward no matter what. They don't feel fear the same way normal people do because they're part of the action horror genre, not traditional victims in a horror story. Number 2, the personality of the new character, Grace Ashcroft. Now, it's been officially confirmed that Grace Ashcroft is a timid and introverted character. This concept was intentionally designed so that the fear and horror she experiences would also be felt by the player, creating a kind of addictive fear. What makes it even more interesting is that she's actually an FBI detective, someone who's great at analyzing things. But unlike the veteran Resident Evil characters, she's not the type to dive headfirst into bioterrorism or combat. That's why Grace Ashcroft fits perfectly with the horror theme of Resident Evil Requiem. Especially with a stalker-type enemy and first-person camera, the experience is set to be deeply terrifying. Number 3. Raccoon City. The events of this game take place 30 years after the bombing of Raccoon City, meaning the year is 2028. With that timeline, we can calculate the ages of our veteran characters. Leon would be 51 years old, Ada Wong, Jill Valentine, and Chris Redfield would each be 54, and Claire Redfield would be 49. The legacy of Raccoon City is inseparable from these veteran characters. The stories of Leon, Jill, Chris, and Claire are deeply tied to that city. They were all key figures during those events. There are actually other important characters too, like Rebecca Chambers, but the chances of her returning are very slim. Still, with Raccoon City making a return in some form, there's hope that these veterans might appear again, even if not as main characters like Grace Ashcroft. It could be similar to Resident Evil Village, where Ethan Winters took the lead role, while Chris Redfield appeared in a supporting role. Number 4. The switch between first-person and third-person cameras. Actually, this information was already known before the Capcom Spotlight event. But if we take a closer look, it's clear that third-person cameras don't quite fit the horror theme as well. Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village are great examples, both horror-focused titles, that used a first-person perspective. And they succeeded in creating intense fear and immersion, making players feel the horror firsthand. On the other hand, third-person cameras are strongly associated with veteran characters like Leon, Jill, Ada, Chris, and Claire. We all know the games they've starred in: Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, and others. So it's possible that Capcom is using third-person perspective specifically for those veteran characters who might appear as supporting roles alongside Grace Ashcroft. Number 5, rumors that this could be the end and the start of a new story. This is still just a rumor. I've heard it before, though I can't remember the exact source, but if we look closely, it actually makes some sense. The Resident Evil series originally began in Raccoon City. That's where it all started, and now players are being brought back there 30 years later based on the current timeline. We began with Resident Evil 0 in 1998, and now we have Resident Evil Requiem set in 2028. There's been a lot of discussion among fans that if one of the veteran characters appears, there's a chance they could be killed off in a heroic way, marking the end of an era, while also opening the door for a new generation. So now we just have to wait for an official confirmation from Capcom in the coming months. Will one of the veterans make a surprise return? We'll see. So that's all I wanted to share in today's video. If you found something interesting or have your own thoughts, feel free to leave a comment. We can all discuss it together. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.